Honorable members of the class, distinguished member of the faculty, my name is Burahan and I will be presenting Ryanair, the airline that I have picked for the tasks of AVM 301 course. This presentation will be the introduction of the airline, where I will be introducing some key aspects of it, as well as the facts and figures specifically from the year 2019. So first of all, I will be giving you some brief information regarding the airline, and then I will be presenting you the history of it. And on the third section, I will be giving you financial figures, operational aspects, and key performance indicators of the airline. And lastly, I will be talking about the uniqueness of the airline. So Ryanair is a low-cost airline founded and registered in Ireland. The airline's headquarters is within Swords, Dublin. The airline operates within the European airline market with 87 operational bases and within 40 countries. Main operational bases are Dublin Airport and London Stansted Airport. Throughout 2019, the airline has carried approximately 153 million passengers. Airline conducts 2,400 flights on daily basis and has well over 16,000 employees. It is certified as a 3-star airline by Skytrax, and considering the fact that throughout 35 years of operation there hasn't been single fatality, and therefore rated as a 7 out of 7 star for safety by airlineratings.com. The airline mainly conducts short-haul, medium-haul flights and utilizes its aircrafts as much as possible in an effective manner. Ryanair Holding has subsidiary companies, subsidiary airlines. They are a group of low-cost airlines, and these are Ryanair, Ryanair UK, Malta Air, Laudamotion, also known as Lauda, and finally Buzz. Now the history of Ryanair. Well, Ryanair was established in 1984 in Ireland, but started its operations on 8th of July 1985. The airline has been founded by Tony and Christopher Ryan and Liam Lonergan. Airline's first route was from Waterford to London Gatwick with an Embraer Bandit with a capacity of 15 passengers. After some time, they launched London-Dublin route and operated a BAE 748, which you can see the image on the screen. With this launch, they've expanded their operations, and with these expansions, they were able to challenge giants such as British Airways and Aer Lingus, which is an important achievement because at the time, these two airlines were in a monopolistic role within their own respective market. In 2002 and 2003, they became the #1 airline of Europe in terms of customer service, punctuality, in other words, on-time performance, and a small quantity of cancellations and lost baggage cases compared to its competitors such as EasyJet. Alright, so on this section I will be presenting you some financial figures, operational aspects, and key performance indicators. So in terms of operations, well, Ryanair, like most of the low-cost carriers, has point-to-point network structure. With this structure, the airline can increase the variability on flights and may cover potential demand and therefore generate more revenue. The airline has #1 coverage within its market. It has more than 2,100 routes and operates from 234 airports, which are mostly secondary airports due to costs. The average stage length of Ryanair is 774 miles, and the network range is 2,542 miles, which is Warsaw-Tenerife route, and the flight time is around 5 hours and 35 minutes. In 2019, according to the annual report, Ryanair had a revenue passenger booked of 142.1 million. It had a booked passenger load factor of 96%. It had a fleet of Boeing 737-800s with a seating capacity of 189 passengers and 16 leased Airbus A320s, which was operated by the subsidiary airline Lauda. The average aircraft utilization on daily basis was approximately 9 hours, and the revenue passenger mile in 2019 was nearly 110 million, and the available seat mile indicator was approximately 115 million. In terms of financial figures, the average fare was 37 euros, in which is the lowest fare in the market. Ancillary revenue per passenger was 17 euros. The total revenue per passenger was 54 euros. The unit cost, excluding fuel cost, was 29 euros. And finally, the annual profit was 885 million euros. It was actually 1.02 billion euros, but due to the startup costs of Laudamotion, it has decreased. Alright, so here we have the revenue distribution and cost breakdown of Ryanair for the year 2019. we can see that 68% of Ryanair's revenue comes from operations and 32% of the revenue comes from ancillary revenue, which is the revenue generated from goods and services other than the airline's main offering, which is air transportation service. When we look at the cost distribution, we can see that 99% of costs are operation based and 1% of it are non-operation based. We can come to a conclusion that ancillary revenue is a primary actor on Ryanair's total revenue, and operational costs are one of the key elements on determining Ryanair's profitability. What makes Ryanair unique is the business and operational strategy the airline follows, as well as the low fares they provide. Ryanair is a no-fares airline, so majority of the time they spend money on the operational necessities. They basically provide the customer the core of airline transportation service, which is the flying aspect, and they provide it with the lowest fares in the market, in which they automatically stimulate high demand. And with well-structured ancillary revenue sources, they increase their revenue tremendously. On the other hand, with their cost-cutting techniques, such as bulk purchases, fuel hedging, operating from secondary airports, and cutting from luxurious service inputs such as jetways, and completely relying on the functionality of their assets, for example, air stairs within the Boeing 737s, they can manage to create a well and consistent profit. So this is what makes Ryanair unique. It is the business and operational strategy that derives the lowest fares, in which it enables every member of the society to experience flying. These are my resources, and thank you for watching my presentation.